All right, ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? My name's Boit, and I'm back. Some more Age Mythology, the craziest games you've ever seen. Action in the bottom side of the map, playing as the Blue Isis. It is the one, the only, the Count, Von Count. His opponent today in the red color, making waves with his amazing Norse tech, Thor build orders. He jumps onto the wood line, chops himself a very specific amount of wood, then he moves over onto the gold. Everyone else puts the dwarves straight to gold. This is Craghack, showing us the business. This does allow Craghack to get a very quick 4-minute advance time if he wants to go that way. He doesn't have to, but he can. Though he might be trying something slightly different here after he finishes chopping the wood down. I don't know. But Count on the bottom here, he's just going to be doing some stock standard shenanigans. He does drop his granary. He puts his mining camp over here. Personally, I think that I feel like there's a lot of opportunity lost for Isis on maps where you can lure rhinoceros in. And I'm just noticing this right now, but Count Von Count is empowering his mining camp instead of his granary, which will get him a faster Flood of the Nile. So if this is what you want to do, which it very much depends, but if this is what you want to do, sure, build the granary. However, to go on a slight rant about really quick economic grabs that certain gods are doing and how they can be a little bit exploitable. There's a very, very solid build order that delays this Flood of the Nile in favor of getting to the classical age at 4 minutes. And maybe even 3 minutes in the villager before, right? While also getting Flood of the Nile in after you click advance. And what this does is it allows you to get a faster second town center, getting your villagers out quicker, which means that the resources lost from not getting the Flood of the Nile are paid off. You get them back, so you're in a better position actually than otherwise. 2, it means that your town center is going to be lightning quick, so it can't be denied. And then 3, it does mean that if your opponent does go for something a little bit funky, a little bit of a rush, you're ready to defend against it. But that's not what we're going to be seeing here in this game. We're going to be seeing Count going for a very, very late advance time. Craghack does manage to get his 4-minute advance time in, though he has a little bit of idle time for it. Not necessarily a terrible thing. Probably not worth it. Probably would have been easier to just go for the extra villager, especially with the temple in your main base like this. But basically, Craghack, he needs to move forward and find some value from this early, I quote unquote, early advance that he's gone for. Whether that be getting an extra town center, maybe getting an upgrade earlier that he otherwise wouldn't have been able to get, or all the other good stuff. As now he has to throw himself up an ox cart, slowing him down even more. He's getting a cursor and all the other good stuff. And on the bottom, we are going to be seeing that prosperity coming through. Now, this prosperity, it really does depend on what strategy you're going for. So if you're going for a fast second town center, or if you're going to stay in the classical age and you want early priests out for whatever reason, makes a lot of sense, right? You're going to be spamming out obelisks, taking the entirety of the map control. But if you want to be doing something like a fast heroic or some sort of different weird strategy, a whole bunch of extra monuments or something, I don't know, just something different, you might want to hold off on dropping the prosperity until a little bit later. But nonetheless, Ferrero comes over, does manage to keep that priest alive as the Berserk doesn't need to get out of here. Searching around up onto the top here for a couple of builds to pick off and all the other good stuff. There's now Count up through Anubis. He is very, very late, but he's going to be pretty well prepared to play. I was going to say pretty well prepared to play a 1 town center game, but he wants the second town center. He's already got his second monument queued up on this second town center, which allows him to prevent frosts or frosts, or probably just frosts on this position. That could be a preventing the healing spring and things like that, but it's mostly just to play around frost a little bit later and obviously get him a little bit of favor early on, so that's going to be nice. I do think how do you advance much quicker here, that you can see if he has this amount of villages to send over here anyways. The town center finishes at 5 minutes and 33 seconds. I think they can finish the town center at 4 minutes and 30 seconds or 4 minutes and 45 seconds with a really, really clean 4-minute advance time. So that would net a handful of extra villages to come through. That's small optimizations, not really the biggest of issues, especially in a matchup like this, where it's actually not about min-maxing resources. It's about doing things that are safe and getting yourself into positions where you can find good advantages, rather than just playing for maximum amount of resources or income, so to speak. And up to the top here, Crackerhack also, he spotted the town center, I believe. Let's have a little look. Yeah, he spotted the town center and he says, all right, I'll go town center as well. No problems. Normally, Norse is the one playing reactionary here. And when you're playing Egyptian versus Norse and you decide to go 2 TC, you have to be ready for this type of angle from the Norse player. And I do think this is where Norse is going to be, especially Thor, but Norse in general is going to have a much nicer time versus Egyptian, is in that 2 town center war, especially with a nice back gold mine, a nice back food over here, and all of this stuff is going to be really, really nice. That being said, Count can look for these Anubite raids early on and find some really, really good value here. So we'll see what he can spot as he's going to be running in onto this side. Random villager hanging out on this on these berry bushes are going to start getting pushed back, and Crackack just simply pulls away as the Herser can come over here, and Count has to get out of here. He does have the speed advantage, so there's no killing of the Anubite, but deflecting the Anubite for the time being. As Count comes in with a spearman or two, he'll have to run with this one as well. And he does spot the town center up as well, so he knows exactly what he's up against. And at this point now, you can start thinking, if you are the ISIS, to say, all right, opponent's 2 TC. Let's go for a fast, or not fast, but let's go for a heroic age here. Reason being is, can't really punish this second town center. It's a little bit tricky. I mean, punish, it's the same as what you've done. So there's no punishment. It's like, we're equal. But a spamming of army isn't really going to be able to do a whole lot here, especially versus Thor, who's got that dwarven gold mine. However, getting to the heroic age, access to chariot archers is going to give you a big advantage moving forward. But nonetheless, slingers coming in, villagers doing villager things, a couple of houses to come down as well. Checking out the relics. There's Cathara of Apollo on the map, as well as Hecate's torch. I don't know how to read these things, man. But there's 2 more relics on the map, and they're both really, really high quality. There's Count and a little bit of an unfortunate fight. One Axeman gets picked off there, and Crackack makes the smart move of just pulling back. Every little kill here is going to matter in a big way, as Count says, yep, heroic age is the right way to go. He builds just enough units to scare Crackack, but Crackack himself is already going to the heroic age. He's got the resources, he just has to click it. He's going there. Skadi and Nephthys is going to be on the way here for Count on Count. Into the main base, villagers will simply pull back into the town center, keeping themselves safe. They can pop onto wood here, and what Crackack is normally what you want to do here is actually go Bragi versus Isis. There's a pretty scary thing that can happen, and we'll see if Count goes for it. He is still making units, which makes me feel like he's not going for it. But the scary thing is where the Isis player will drop the Migdol and then go straight to the Mythic Age behind all of this, because there's no angle in going for a heroic age here from the Thor. There's no angle for him to actually attack and get significant damage done. So the Mythic Age is completely open to go for at this point. And why do I say Bragi instead of Skadi in this situation? The main reason is because of the technology Swine Array. The Swine Array is like the gold standard for dealing with cavalry units, which is what Thoth is going to be. But in going Skadi here, you don't have access to that. You still have the Herbman, but it's just not as useful. But also, Count von Count, he's not going for the fast heroic, it doesn't look like. Because he's still making units, he's getting upgrades, hasn't really put a Migdol down. There he goes for the Migdol in the face. So he's going all out here. Does have to be careful with this one. Hillfort coming up in front of the Migdol stronghold. A monument is needed here to play around. Frost. Otherwise, life's very, very tough. As up onto the top side.
Clear that.
A couple of villages to come through. Ancestors does get dropped down. And Kraghack will retreat. He does have Frost for the Ancestors, which is a perfectly valid way to utilize this God Power. But unfortunately, it's just trading a premium God Power, which is the Norse Heroic Age, for what I would consider a mid-tier sort of power spike for the Isis. This is not your best trade. I think if this was actually Flaming Weapons here, he would have absolutely owned this fight and be in a really good position. He's now the Hillfort on the front. Going to start getting peppered away. But all that being said, Kraghack is in a perfectly fine spot. He's got the Dwarven Mine on the town center, a Hillfort behind this. There will be a siege works coming through for Count von Count, so he can start sieging this down. But these units over here need to pull back. Going to be losing those quite quickly. Count's got to get out of there, and he does make that move now as the forward Hillfort trying to come up. Is now we've got the Frost Giants to start rolling over here. Whole bunch of Huskarl coming in. Never a bad idea to just get this technology, especially in this matchup when you know you're going to be needing a huge amount of Huskarl. But obviously not happening just yet. And we do have a whole bunch of Rams actually getting queued out here for Kraghack. This is pretty risky. Going for Rams here to try and break out of this position, there's not really any advantage to be had in terms of military for Kraghack. So he's going to try and break through this while being behind on military, which is very, very tough. Nimo Noom in the chat. What's going on, my friend? Now the siege tower. Gonna sit back, wait, watch. Count's got himself one siege tower over here. He does have the Migdol stronghold getting having it be empowered. I can make those units out just a little bit quicker. But the longer this sort of standoff goes, the more equal everything becomes, which should benefit the Norse player or the Thor player here, especially if he's getting his armory upgrades, which he is missing a few of them. As the siege towers pop out, siege tower over here will go down. That Frost Giant, unfortunately, uses his special ability there. Definitely want to be using it on the siege towers where you can. But nonetheless, the priests are in. That's going to take out the Frost Giant. Another one's going to be coming through there as the Hillfort does end up going down. Huskarl swarming these chariot archers at the moment. As Count trying to get up another Migdol, but just not quite able to do so. Huskarl over onto the left side. Going down as the Migdol will end up falling. And Count von Count's attack has been dealt with, which is a little surprising considering how much stuff Count had, but he just maybe didn't have the right stuff, or maybe didn't micro all too well. One of the two. But Kraghack gets out of the position, and now Count has to pull back, and he has to work very, very hard to keep himself going in this game. Migdol onto the back here to grab this gold mine. Makes a lot of sense. Kraghack, probably the best idea here is to just drop another town center, potentially here or over here, and start locking the map up. Just put walls everywhere, because the ISIS is going to rocket back up to full pop, especially after that Migdol is finished. He's going to rocket back up to full pop, and then continuing to smash ahead into the ISIS can be a little bit difficult to actually finish the game off. But another Hillfort isn't a terrible idea. The town center does make some good sense. Meanwhile, the Huskarl searching around onto this right side. Another Migdol to come up for Count von Count. But the calm before the storm right now, as Kragak is going for the army spam. We'll see if it's going to work out for him. I mean, I guess this doesn't really necessarily matter. He can put the talent center up sort of whenever. But he is just waiting for the time being. He does have the Huskarl throw an Axeman comp, which is countered by the Chariot Archer Axeman comp, but also counters the Chariot Archer Axeman comp. It's actually very, very difficult to take those fights. Very, very difficult, because you need to make sure the Axemen don't walk forward into the throw and Axeman, and you need to make sure the Chariot Archers are focus firing the throw and Axeman and all the other good stuff, but it's definitely a possible thing to do. As the Huskarl do manage to spot a couple of villagers off into the corner there. Nice little raid as the Chariot Archers pop forward, trying to pick off a couple of units here. They don't want to over-commit all too much there. On the flip side here, Count could probably think about going for a town center too. He's popping up to the top side of the map to grab this gold mine. And this is going to turn into a very tactical game, I'd say, of basically Count has to play defense from now on and try and just squeeze out some advantages to, well, I would say, almost bring him back into this game. And Kragak, because he hasn't grabbed that extra talent center, he doesn't have any significant advantage now. It's just the advantage is that he can set up all the walls all around the map, I guess. The Chariot Archers dealing with those straggler Huskarl running in here. There's a couple of Axemen behind here, and Count does get himself the town center up. He's got plenty of units, and it's mostly the Axemen that is scary here. As over onto this left side, an attempt to wall this off will get thwarted as Count can now attempt to come around here. I would try and wall this off myself as well. Maybe even wall around the pond, because you can always transport ship shenanigans. There's Osiris on the way for Count von Count. This makes sense. He manages to get to that Mythic Age first. Kragak on the other side here. Temple coming up. Longhouse coming up. All the other good stuff. But no next stage in sight. Just everything in queue. As he is going to be looking for a big, big push here. Big question is, can he make it through? He's got a fairly sizable army at the moment. Those Frost Giants, heavily countered by the Priests, though. There are enough of them that they can sort of tank for a while. They can find some good value. As the town center over here for Count going down as a second Ancestor's getting called to try and take out those portable rams. And the Chariot Archers bailing off here as they are not able to actually take the fight against the Huskarl. But loses the town center, still going Mythic Age, so it's not the biggest of deals, but dropping a huge amount of favor there does mean all of a sudden what Count von Count wanted is not going to be coming for him. He wanted a lot of mummies with that favor. That was like 160 favor he just dumped into defending his town center, which he didn't even defend. It's the Pharaoh also going to go down. You can't be losing him. Well, Pharaoh down. Which needs now another 90 seconds before he gets that Son of Osiris. So everything that could go wrong here for Count is going wrong. As the Priests will be taking down the Frost Giants of Thrym. And Count is going to be taking out a couple more units here with those Chariot Archers, trying to get as much value out of them as he possibly can. When the army gets close, he has got to pull back. Now, there are these Great Jarls, so you do actually need to be continually moving through your army comp. Camel Riders or Spam, and you have to make a decision as to which one you want to be building, as it looks like Count will be going for his Camel Riders. It's a big gold spend there, but he doesn't have the food income to go for spearmen, so it's gonna be a perfectly reasonable way to go. Villagers popping forward here to try and take out these portable rams. As they are actually quite scary. They do 5 damage a second, which is not a lot, but for a siege weapon, it's something. There's the hill forts up on the top, taking some big damage, which is very early advanced fortifications grab here from Count Von Count. An absolutely huge, expensive technology to make these fortresses really strong, but it does get cancelled there as the portable rams go down. And Count is in max struggle town here. Chariot archers going down, villagers getting picked off. Son of Osiris now to join in the fun. As Count does have a very large amount of favor pool starting to build up here. I'd love to see him get a 3rd monument up, a 4th monument up, and start getting some myth units out. Because here's the biggest weakness for what Craghack has here is he's got no heroes. So surprising Craghack a little bit with 3 or 4 mummies would be a really big way to start winning these fights. But as this has all happened, we haven't been covering it, but Count has been making a lot of progress on this right side. He's now got a fortress or a Migdol coming up. He's got a catapult siege in the main base. He's got the town center up. Count's got to be careful here underneath that hill fort. But Mythic Age is on the way. Tier is very close to be popping here as the house is going to be going down. Now, Fimbulwinter will come through, and that will be idling the economy for a little bit. If you've got your army in the right place, you can often just zap these wolves down and be ready to go. But lots of villagers getting picked off here. This Fimbulwinter has given Craghack a gigantic amount of value. It's not every day you get to see that, but it does end up going that way. There's another pharaoh to pop out over here. And we'll see if Count can deal with all of this. But Craghack is going to be able to turn this on this position. And I don't actually... Well, I mean, with the Son of Osiris, you can kind of do anything. So portable rams over here going to be going down. And we finally see some mummies coming out. Yay! But it's definitely time to start thinking about these monuments as well. A couple of economic upgrades missing. Count on Count falling behind on the score, but in these sorts of positions, it almost doesn't matter. Craghack has lost his armory, though. He's probably already up to full bronze. No, he's not. Both players are equal on armory here, so I don't see any real significant advantage for Craghack at the moment. Sometimes the score tells some lies. Maybe the legendary Jarl of the advantage. These things are incredibly tough. This Count now popping over onto this position. The mummies get their vomit onto those legendary Jarls. What you want is the mummy to actually get the vomit onto that back line if you can. Of course, only 12 range, so it's a little bit tough. If they can vomit that backline, they die really quickly because low HP and a whole bunch of minions to come through. As the main base now under attack, can try and take out the town center and get some real damage done. But the towers, they do have themselves that crenellations upgrade. So Cav take a little bit of bonus damage, and a couple of spearmen are going to pop out there and defend this, no problems. As the chariot archers have spotted some villagers up here, the town center has gone down, and Craghack is in all types of pain right now. But he is hitting back, and losing town centers isn't the worst thing in the world. The only problem here is losing the town center with all your farms. The army charging in here. The mummies get that vomit in, but Kragak says, no, I don't want to fight a whole bunch of minions here if I can help it. And it looks like he's going to have to fight them anyways, because that mummy vomit lasts so long. How many did he get there? He's got 7. And it keeps on going up. He's got 8. And this army gets absolutely erased. As Count is going to be able to break through this very, very shortly. This town center has also fallen. Everyone losing town centers. I completely missed this one. I guess that was the legendary Jarls that managed to pick that off. As Count's mummies proving extra dangerous at the moment. And Kragak, now he's got himself the answer for the Son of Osiris. One of the few answers is the Ballista, as that comes through, and taking that Son of Osiris out there very quick, as Count was not paying attention to it. And all of a sudden, this army looks much less powerful. Great find there from Kragak. He's done his research. And we are seeing raids up onto the top. The minions going after the villagers. Now, they do have that negative multiplier. Wait, they don't? The minions of the mummies don't have a negative multiplier versus villagers. There you go. Yes, they do. No, they don't. Huh? Do they? Am I going crazy? Can someone do a quick little check-see for me? Is my game just bugging out? Or do these guys actually do full damage versus villagers? The Ancestors' God Power does 0.5 versus villagers. Anyways, over onto this side, because wall's coming up for Count Von Count. He's going to try and break out of this position. And these minions last so long as well. What is that lifespan? Absolutely crazy. But Count here, he's struggling for some reason on everything. He is making himself his trade route, but his economy is hurting. He's got 61 villages on wood. That's why it's hurting. He's got no gold mines left. He's been cut off this one. He does have this gold mine over here. He's got this gold mine over here. He's got now 4 monuments. So, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong person. This is 50 villages on wood for Kragak. Kragak's got 50 villages on wood. Does he have no gold mines left? Oh, he's got plenty. Okay, I don't know what's going on for Kragak, but he's got 50 villages on wood. A classic. But actually, Count's economy is perfectly fine. He's just struggling to get units out for whatever reason. There's the Ballista coming through to take out the town center on this side. A couple of mercenary cavalry to come in. You need those. You actually do need those to break the Ballista. This is the right unit, but a little bit too slow. He had them going the wrong way. A little bit too slow to get onto this, and the town center will end up falling as the catapults to push back over on this side. Meanwhile, down on the bottom, we are seeing towers, walls, portable rams charging into the main base here as Count has to defend both sides of the map at once. He is only 5 population behind here, even down a town center, because he's ISIS, because he's got that extra 5 pop per town center. So he should be able to be defending all this stuff. The only thing is he needs to get that trade route up to like 60 trade caravans so that he can actually start really managing to spam out mercenary and defend these positions a little bit easier. Definitely can't be losing this town center because that's going to make life very, very tough for him. As now the siege heavy catapults to come through. They're going to be making short work of these hill forts in the center. There's the portable ram going down over here. Will it kill off the town center? It's going to be close, but it will go down. Town center goes down, but Count Von Count, he doesn't have the resources to put it back up. And selling the crazy amounts of food he's got in the bank might not be the best idea. Great move from Kraghack, but he's about to be losing the main situation as well in the middle of the map. We are seeing some random spearmen going after ox caravans there as well. Always annoying, but got to deal with it. Both players struggling for population at the moment. As the town center here is to go down. Count going to be trying to get himself his own town center back up, but 2 Ballister will be able to be putting a stop to this. They don't do a crazy amount of damage, but well, they kind of do. But to a town center like this, they will be able to prevent that from going up. In fact, Kraghack, is he focusing down the villages? No, he's just attack moving. And he will be picking those villages off because the town center is not going to be finishing here anytime soon. The army going to be pulling back ever so slightly. Kraghack with no food in the bank, no wood in the bank, but lots of gold. In these positions, you can actually think about buying food and wood. Once you get up to like 80 villages, 70 villages, 60 villages on gold, why not just buy some food, buy some gold? Walls coming up over onto this side. Is Kraghack going to try and lock this position off? The town center for Count Von Count is not going to be finishing, is it? Oh, it will finish. It does get up, but it's going to get taken down very, very quickly here. Especially if he doesn't try to repair it. He could go for the main town center and just give up on that middle one. Sorry, his home one. Go for the middle town center, give up on his main. Let's count a little bit distracted here. He's got to get those units into the actual fight. We'll see if he can manage to make that happen or not. As the Ballister over here getting a little bit out of position. Can snipe those down with some villagers there if he wants to. Migdol Stronghold up onto this side to try and siege down that main town center of Kraghack again. Picking off this town center is huge because it means the trade route gets brutalized, which is what's happened to Count. Count is like locked off into this back corner, and his trade caravans are only getting himself 22 gold, but he's kept alive by the gold mine here. At least for the time being. As I say that, he gets raided, and the villagers will have to bail. It's a little cheeky Frost. Secondary Frost does come down. I'm a bit surprised to see that, Frost. Like, Frost Giants seem really, really good here, or even better than Frost Giants, Fenris Wolf Broods. These things are so good. I can't understate this. This is a unit you should be building. Get yourself up 3 temples, and instead of using that 200 favored Frost, make yourself 10 Fenris Wolves, and they will come in and chew up the Mummy Vizier and absolutely erase this army. Force priests out when your opponent is struggling for gold, and be a really, really important help. But nonetheless, town center on this left side going up as Kraghack slowly but surely taking full control of this game. Trying to get the middle town center up as well as the siege tower going to break through the stone walls here. These aren't really... I mean, there's stone at the bottom, I guess. Stone and wood walls. Siege tower could try and deny that town center if it's quick enough. And Count, for the moment, needs to get himself an army back up, but really struggling to get himself that population in without having any gold, with that trade route being as messed up as it currently is. Count trying to get his town center back up again. Villagers get pulled as the portable ram to come through. And that town center might get denied. I think it will. Well, it stays alive. 15 seconds to get it up. But a couple more Huskarl going to be coming through here as a hill fort onto the front as well. Count just can't get a moment to breathe in this game. He needs this gold mine. Did he end up getting himself the tech? No. His Migdol advanced fortifications tech was denied at like minute 15 or something, and he still hasn't remembered to research it again. So these Migdols are kind of tickling at the moment. If he has that advanced fortifications, then all of a sudden they're really, really strong. As Count's town center is back up, you're going to be seeing the Huskarl, the Bravery Huskarl here as well with that tier upgrade. They can start taking down buildings very, very quickly if you've got the right ones in there. Because these mummies are just absolute gold for Count in this game. But is it going to be enough to actually bring himself back here? That's the big question. Because Craghack has got 4 town centers now. He's about to take Count down to 2 town centers. He could potentially go up 5 to 2 town centers here as well. Plenty of economy on the side of Craghack as he's just going to keep taking buildings down. And the town center does end up falling, which means the trade route yet again for Count von Count is in trouble here. There's the Goaty coming through. You have to pull back a little bit. Realistically, you only need to get the special off on these mummies, and that's sort of all they need to do to get their value in. But you do have to focus down those Goaty, otherwise they will be able to take out the mummies. The Craghack, just such a well-played game, constantly pressuring on this bottom side, holding on this right side beautifully. And Count still trying to make something of this situation. Down onto the bottom, we are seeing some Fenris Wolves coming through. They're an amazing raider. They're also an amazing unit to be having in your actual army. But they can just go and sit on a trade route once you get like their speed up. 6.6 speed when you have 5 or 6 of them together. 5 of them together. I think they go up to 7 speed maybe if you have 6 of them. I can't remember. This Craghack putting up a hill fort over onto this side. Gets up his hill fort over onto this side. And what can Count do? Apart from continue to try and just hold with this death ball of mummy, chariot, axeman. Not paying attention on the mummies though, as the Goaty do manage to get in, picking off a couple more of them. There's still 64 favor in the bank, so we can rebuild them pretty quickly, but not paying attention on this is going to make things very, very tricky here for Count von Count. Because that's the bulk of what he can do. But down onto the bottom, these Fenris Wolves have dragged the heroes over here, and they can just rotate and then move back up to the top, and then they can be killing off all of this stuff now. The building's just dropping everywhere for Count. He's just not able to hold on. But he does have a gold mine, so he's still got some chances here. As long as you've got a gold mine, you've got chances. Sort of how AOM works. Now the Fenris Wolves to come through and to show everyone exactly how how strong these units are. They're going to be able to take out all these villagers and force Count von Count to run, while Count now needs priests and nothing but priests to deal with it. Probably needs like 15 priests out here to actually deal with these Fenris wolves. And in that moment there, Count does decide to tap out. Even had that Secret of the Titans on the way. Didn't get to see the Norse Titan, but GG, well played there. Really, really interesting game. Back and forth for sure. Count almost had something going really, really big here. But Crag hit some really nice counter attacks on the bottom, taking out the town centers and all that other good stuff. And Count just could not quite recover on this spot. And in not recovering over here and losing this town center and this town center, he doesn't have a trade route. And not having the trade route means a struggle economically. So he has to get max value out of everything. But unfortunately, even with those mummies and how much value he got from them, it just was not enough for him to hold on. And Crag Hack managed just to pull away with the dub. Take a little look-see at the graph here. You can see the pull away from Crag Hack here because of that trade route mostly. Take a look at the civilian unit diff. It's very much in favor of Crag Hack throughout all of this. But even in this side where Count von Count drops off, you're still sort of pulling ahead because of that trade route issue. Nonetheless, units killed lost relatively close here, though there are more valuable units on the side of the... Actually, that's Legendary Jarl, so maybe not. But the big difference here, 164 villagers killed. Huge, huge difference there for Crag Hack. If you guys enjoyed this one, make sure you hit the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you guys in the next game.